When I first got into manifesting money, I would use social media as my main source of information, specifically TikTok, because if you take a look at it, people give you advice within 30, 40 seconds. So it made sense for me to stop doom scrolling and wasting a lot of time. I may as well just learn a thing or two about manifesting money, because at that time I was so financially desperate. We didn't know how we were going to pay the bills. My father had a lot of legal troubles, and my brother wasn't sure if he was going to go to school or not. So I had to take all the responsibility and figure out a way to change my life and bring money in. And of course, since at desperate times, I had to turn into manifestation. Now, as I delved into manifestation, I realized that I wasted months just learning from TikTok, because they gave me the exact same techniques. Affirmations each and every single day, repeat them in the mirror, say them out loud. Write your affirmations on a piece of paper at a certain date, at a certain time when the stars are aligned. Make sure you script and visualize in a certain way. All of these don't work. The reason why they don't work is because there's layers and stages to manifesting money that they just cut it out. The reason why they cut it out is because they just want to give you a piece of the pie, so then you go and pay them $5,000, $4,000 for a program to teach you how to actually manifest money. And when I realized that the information that I gathered from social media is a complete waste, that's when I turned to the original sources. Books, and not just new books. I'm talking about old books that were written a long time ago. So I want to tell you what those layers are, so by the end of this, you know exactly what you need to do to manifest money on easy mode. Now, one of the main things that I had to learn at the start is letting go of all people's opinions. Now, that sounds very easy to implement, but let me tell you why. When I was a young kid, I would always be compared to my cousins, to my friends for getting better grades. And the way that my parents would motivate me is by basically making me feel like a failure. They would say, you aren't good enough. And then we would just get into fights. I remember these vividly from when I was a young kid. I would always be screamed at, I would always be compared, and even when I did get good grades, I'll be told, why don't you do better? So I always felt like a failure. And these beliefs stuck around with me until I grew up. In 2021, my father decided to pull a stunt. Well, I wouldn't call it a stunt. He decided to pull something that's very sad, but you might find it funny. I get a call, and he was like, in 5 minutes, I want you to come downstairs. I want to take you somewhere. I'm like, oh, great. We're just going to have some father-son moments, and we're going to enjoy some time together. He picks me up, and we go to his work factory. We stay there for 30, 40 minutes between all the metal workers and the construction workers, and people are just sweaty and screaming at each other, and there's like, what's that spark that comes out of metal things? Yeah, so there's sparks everywhere, and I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? He would not give me an answer. We stay there for 30, 40 minutes until one guy passes by. He points at him, and he tells me, you see him? Your life is gonna turn out to be worse than his. I swear to God, that's exactly what happened. He thought that he could motivate me by doing that little thing. That stuck around with me when things went downhill in 2022 and I wanted to make something of my own. When 2022 came by, everything went to complete crap. My father lost everything, he had to declare bankruptcy, and I had to figure out a way to secure myself a better future. I'm not talking about living a big lifestyle, no, I'm talking about just enough money for me to know that I am good and everybody around me is good. And when I first got into trying to manifest money, I had to let go of all people's beliefs, because I noticed something, that what happened to me in the past does not define who I am, because the past doesn't exist anymore. All that matters is now, because from here on now, my future will be created by the identity that I have of myself right now. Your past does not define you. People's opinions do not define you. What defines who you are is what you choose to be right now, is who you choose to be right now. That's the first thing. The second thing is figuring out my why to my why. Now, when everybody wants to manifest money, they usually attach it to a certain lifestyle outcome. I want to buy this bag, I want to buy this car, I want to buy this house, I want to travel the world, which is fine. Everybody has their own purpose. For me, it was different. And the reason why I struggled a lot of times to manifest money is because I would take goals and ideas and desires that I would find other people living it. So I would go on social media, and everybody's flashing a certain lifestyle, a certain car, certain bags, certain travels, certain clothing. And I'm like, okay, I want to be just like them. I want exactly what they have. And I would make my whole purpose around manifesting money just to be like them. Now, as I went through my manifesting journey, I noticed something, that nothing is working out. Why? Because my purpose is not aligned with what my soul actually wants. So that's when I was like, okay, maybe what I want isn't the bags, the clothing, the cars. My life was completely in crap. So it made sense for me to not focus on these. So what did I actually want? And I sat down with myself, pulled up a piece of paper, and I just sat down. And I'm like, okay, why did I get into this manifesting journey? Like, why am I doing all of this? And then I remembered, 1, your father's in a lot of trouble. 2, Your mother doesn't know how she's gonna pay the bills. And 3, your brother's school's tuition is past due time. So what are we gonna do about this? And then I remembered, oh, it's not about the lifestyle. It's about providing for my loved ones. Why do I want to provide for my loved ones? And then I remembered, my father never used to provide for us a lot when I was a young kid. In fact, my father went off, married someone else, and he had kids. And he left me, my mother, and brother to basically go F ourselves. And he never used to be there. My father wasn't present for most of our lives. That's why I wanted to manifest money. Because I wanted to be the person who shows up for my mother and brother and everybody else around me. Sure, my mother used to discourage me when I was a kid, or she used to give me some bad motivation when I was a kid, but that doesn't change the fact that she is my mother, and I have to provide for her at all times. That's when I realized that this is my why, and that's exactly what you should do too. When you try to figure out your why to your why, go deeper. Go to childhood trauma and remind yourself, why do you want to be great? However, for you, it might be different. You just want to get out of financial debt. That's completely fine. As long as you're not attaching your purpose, your why, to what you see on social media, you will find ways to manifest money and attract financial abundance into your life. And the third thing is something that people do not say to you because they just want you to be confused. However, it's a must, and it's setting one goal at a time. When I would go on TikTok and people would be like, write down your desires and goals on a piece of paper. Okay, if I write, I am wealthy and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm traveling the world, I'm providing from this, I'm doing that, I'm buying this, I'm buying that. There's so many things I would have to focus on. And the more I try to put one foot in front of the other to turn that list of goals into reality, the more I realize that my attention is divided into multiple things. And if you must know something, it's the fact that energy goes where attention flows. And if your attention is divided to multiple sources, your energy goes nowhere. It's a complete waste. You waste a lot of time. So then I decided to be like, you know what? A couple months have went by and I'm clearly not manifesting what I want. Why not stick to one thing at a time and see how things unfold? So I literally just cut out the piece of paper that I had, because I used to have a piece of paper that I would carry around in my laptop bag all the time. I just cut it out and I completely made a new one. And that new one had literally one statement in the middle, which is I am making X amount of money each and every single month. That is it. No, nothing had to do with health, nothing had to do with clothing, nothing had to do with this, nothing had to do with my brother's tuition, none of that stuff. It's just one statement that I wrote on a piece of paper and that is it. And I didn't even write it in the sense of scripting, I just wrote it to always remind myself of the original goal. And when I set that goal, that's when I got into action. I knew exactly what to meditate on. I knew exactly what type of personality I want to embody. I knew exactly what sort of steps that I have to take in order to turn that dream into reality. And when my energy was focused on one singular thing, that's when the events started to show up in my life, the circumstances started to align, the people started to show up, everything started to make sense. The opportunities would present themselves. Everything made sense when I had one goal. So what you should be doing is setting one singular goal and focusing on that at all times. No 5 goals in a single paper, just one goal, one desire that you want to achieve. It could be getting out of debt, it could be making a certain amount of money each and every single month, it could be a certain job that you wish to manifest. Whatever it is, make it one singular thing, backed by your why of your why. I know that this dream is very possible because your old beliefs, your old opinions about yourself no longer matter, because what matters is who you are now. That is the third thing. The fourth thing is having a routine daily to embody that desire of yours. When I would use my affirmations and script my desires out, I wasn't present in the affirmations or in the scripting that I was doing. And if there's one thing you should know, is that if your heart is absent from every single thing you're doing, you're not directing your energy to materialize that desire of yours. So I remember when I would go on TikTok and I would say my affirmations to the mirror each and every single day, I remembered, wait, do I actually believe what I'm saying? Am I just saying a bunch of words? Think of it as prayer. When you go and pray, do you just say like words without even understanding what you're saying? Or do you have to be present in spirit in order to make that prayer effective? It is the exact same thing as prayer. When you're manifesting, the whole point of manifesting is making sure that your heart and spirit is present in what you're saying. Because if you don't embody who you want to be, then you will never act in a way where the opportunities and circumstances start to align themselves. So what I like to do each and every single day, I would just get up, either sit on a chair, sit on my bed. Even when I wake up, it doesn't even matter how you do it. Because by the way, you can manifest in any way. You can manifest standing up, you can manifest sitting down, you can manifest laying down in bed. It doesn't matter what you do. What I would do is remember my goal and then come up with an image in my head of something that indicates the end outcome being achieved. I could be congratulated, I could be celebrated, I could see some money in my bank. I could see a check in my hand. I could see me being accepted at a job. Whatever it is, I would think of it, and right then and there, I would embody that image now. This is who I am. No might, no maybe, no this will happen in the future. No, this is who I am right now. And I would just embody it. I would feel it in each and every single part of my body. And then my internal conversation would shift from I want this to happen to I feel so great that this has happened. I'm gonna buy this with my new paycheck. I'm gonna buy this with my new business invoice that just came through. Feels great. I can just go around and buy myself some new pieces of clothing. My internal conversation would shift when I embodied the image as now. So each and every single day, make it your main priority to sit down with the desire in hand, with an image of it in mind, and demand it as now. This is who I am right here, right now. Because as you do that, things will start to align in your favor. And that's exactly what happened to me. When I first got into manifesting money and I wanted to make some money, although I didn't have a certain number in mind, I just had the idea of me being accepted at a job. I got accepted in a sales position that I wasn't even qualified for. And by the third month of me being on that sales job, I made $11,000. I wasn't qualified, but I got the job. And it's exactly how I did it, by embodying me being accepted at a job right here, right now. This is who I am now. That is the fourth thing. Now, the fifth thing is making sure you have a different routine for feeling uplifted before 10 a.m. Now, this is something that people do not talk about, and I learned this from old mystical books. If you know Neville Goddard, the father of manifestation, I wouldn't call him the father, but I would just say he's the most known person around manifestation. He had a mystical teacher, his mentor. Now, I delved into learning more about his mentor. And there was one thing that he would always mention, which is being in an uplifted state before 10 a.m. And the reason why you would have to be in an uplifted state before 10 a.m. because if you are in an uplifted state before 10 a.m., you will not face any problems throughout your entire day. And even if you do, they'll be solved with ease. I thought this was kind of BS at the start, and then I was like, you know what, I've got nothing to lose. And I wake up quite early, so may as well try to implement what he's saying and see how it works. The way he taught being in an uplifted state is by basically just cleansing any bad thought that comes into mind. So every day before 10 a.m., I would sit down and I would meditate on one singular statement. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better, better, and better. Every day, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. And I would also say, negative thoughts have no influence over me at any level of the mind. Negative thoughts have no influence over me at any level of the mind. And then I would just say, I'm feeling great, I'm feeling joyous, I'm feeling at peace. And again, remember, you should be meditating in spirit, not just physically or mentally saying stuff. Meditating in spirit is literally just embodying what you're saying, feeling it as if that's who you are right now. And I would do that before 10 a.m. And all I know is that for some reason, my day would be very good. No arguments, no obstacles, and even if something came up, it would be solved with ease. Being in an uplifted state before 10 a.m. has by far not only just changed me personally, but has also changed the people around me and my business. For some reason, clients are just rolling in. For some reason, I'm no longer facing problems with my ad accounts because my ad accounts used to be blocked by Facebook all the time, so I wasn't able to run advertising, but now everything is just solved. I remember I didn't know how I was gonna unblock my ad account. I know I'm getting a little bit off topic, but I remember there was a point where my ad accounts were blocked and I didn't know how I was gonna solve it. When I just became in an uplifted state, I got an email from Facebook because they take a long time to reply to you. I got an email from Facebook saying, we just reviewed your request and your ad accounts are up again. You may think that this is a coincidence, but remember, in the manifesting world, there's no such thing as coincidence. If you believe in manifestation, in manifesting money, manifesting abundance, you should know that there's no such thing as coincidence and only truth. And the truth is who you are and who you embody to be right now. So if you take everything that I've talked about with you in that chit chat and you implement it, you live by it, I hope you took notes. I promise you, you will manifest money to the point that you never have to think about it ever again, because it will come to you in ways that you cannot even think of.